Welcome to Acton in Focus. I'm Vivian Kopsinger-Birchall, your host, and my special guest is the Town of Acton's Economic Development Director, Patricia Costa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's always lovely to chat with you because economic development is truly the heart of Acton. So, with that said, since the last time we spoke, what have been some of the achievements in your department or the growth that you have seen in the context of economic development?
Yeah, first of all, Vivian, yes, you are right when you say that economic development comprises so many different things. It intersects with housing, recreation, transportation. So it's a broad area that intersects with everything else. Well, since we last spoke last year, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, we have accomplished some important things in terms of economic development. We were awarded a grant to attract businesses to Great Road, which is considered a priority area for economic development in town. And we also advanced the conversations with business owners, and this is a very important part mm-hmm. of the work in economic development, receiving the input from business owners on a daily basis. Each business is unique. Each business owner has their own expectations, needs, and being able to address all these different demands in different sectors of economic activity is really challenging. And we had made some progress interacting with them and learning more about how we can conduct our projects and initiatives to better meet their needs and assist them in their growth and expansion.
Absolutely. First, I think let me even fast backtrack a little bit and say, for the benefit of many who might not be familiar with the term economic development, what does it really cover? What does it mean?
Well, putting in simple terms, economic
Right.
development consists of a set of projects, programs, actions that can attract, retain, and stimulate business activities in town. It consists of assisting business owners. It consists of providing them with the tools, technical assistance, access to information, financial support that they may need. But also think about the other side of the economic activity, which is the customers, the clientele. So we have to think about how they move around town, what makes a plaza or a storefront attractive to them. We have to think about those who work in the businesses established in town, which is another component. So we talk about those who live, work, invest, and shop in town. So we have a different sets of actors, different sectors of economic activity, from retail stores to restaurants to manufacturing, and we have to be able to orchestrate the programs and initiatives to properly meet so many different demands. So this is what makes it so challenging, but at the same time so rewarding when we see results and when we see that business owners have been able to prosper, to grow, to thrive in our town.
What you're presenting is a lot of detail. And just out of curiosity, I have an idea to the answer, but for the purposes of our audience to understand, how many people are doing all this work in your department?
Well, this is a one-person office, so it's myself with the assistance of an incredible group of members of the Economic Development Committee who serve as the bridges between the town and the community, bringing in inputs and perceptions, helping me properly assist the businesses and all the other agents involved. And more recently, I received a group of 4 volunteers from Acton Boxborough High School who have been assisting me with the preparation of a survey to help us identify the demands and the needs of our business community. So it's me, Economic Development Committee, these volunteers, and a lot of interest and energy to make things happen and to make the town thrive.
No, it's exciting to learn how much work you do, not just exciting, humbling, because it's a lot of work. And it's in that context that, just for, again, to understand the scope of your work, how do you determine what businesses need the support that you can offer them? Do they reach out to you, or are there other additional ways of keeping track of the business needs and economic development needs of the town?
This outreach happens from me to the business owners, but there are also some situations when business owners reach out to the office. And there are cases that are brought to the Office of Economic Development by the Economic Development Committee. Working as a one-person office, you can imagine that it's virtually impossible to get to know all businesses and keep track of all the dynamics of their services, because things change over time, right? We have the life cycle of the product. We have a new business that comes to a certain area in town, and then it changes the reality of what's going on there. It interferes with the forces of supply and demand. So there are many elements at play. So that's what I refer to as an orchestra of elements and agents that is in constant, in a process of changing constantly. So I reach out to them, they reach out to me, and the Economic Development Committee also assists with bringing in some inputs from the community.
Yeah, and if I could just direct the questions now to a specific region that you mentioned earlier, which is Great Road, that corridor. What have been some of the changes toward revitalizing that corridor, and what's the vision for the next 5 years?
The programs for Great Road, they have been conducted more directly involving some groups of businesses. So we've been working with cross-marketing, from a cross-marketing approach, connecting businesses that apparently do not have many things in common. They are not exactly at the same plaza, at the same on the same part of Great Road, but they can work together. For example, last year we had an event that brought together Majestic Day Spa, which is a spa on one side of the road, with Velvet Vine Cafe, which is a little bit further north, and we organized an event in partnership with the Council on Age, with the Senior Center. So this event was planned so that we could bring more people to more customers to Velvet Vine Cafe, and at the same time give them an opportunity to interact with the owners of Majestic Day Spa, who brought some information regarding self-care and how to take care of the skin and the hair. So we had an event. We ended up having an event that brought together two businesses. We also invited a speaker who is an Acton resident. So by working with these smaller initiatives, we are able to reach some results that together, when we add them up, they make an impact. We are planning other events. We have some things in the pipeline for Great Road for this year involving, for example, El Huipil Mexican restaurant, potentially with the participation of Discovery Museum and Magenta Dance Place. So it is going to be a Latin festival with dance, music, food, and arts. This is why we have the restaurant, we have the dance studio, we have the Discovery Museum, each one making a different contribution so that we can show our residents and the people who live in other municipalities around Acton, we can show them what that specific area or plaza has to offer and what the town has to offer. So in the future, we expect, not in the very long term, but in the next 5 years, we expect some changes to Great Road, from the perspective of some investments that the state has in their pipeline for Route 2 that will certainly impact Route 2A, Great Road, as a result.
And then just from what you have mentioned, you've highlighted a few categories of businesses, which brings me to my next question. What are some of the trends or the variations in the needs of this business? We have all kinds of categories. What has been your observation in terms of their needs? What are some of the variations, and how do you consolidate all these things?
Their needs are as diverse as the scope of their activities, the products that they sell, the services that they provide, and the products that they manufacture. We, on top of all these sectors that you mentioned, like retail, restaurants, we also have manufacturing, and some businesses have reached out to us with specific requests and interest in terms of expansion, in terms of establishing some structures to help them with tariffs, and so there are different demands, and they are as diverse as the businesses themselves.
And have they experienced changes based on, say, the turnover in the town, like people coming and going? I don't know how it's best to phrase this question, but what impact does the town's demographic have on the thriving of the businesses in town?
Acton is a diverse community.
Yeah.
Acton is diverse in terms of demographics, in terms of the scope of activities and services that our businesses offer. And we have tried our best to help small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and larger corporations which have like a more global impact. And for us, each of these businesses, no matter how many employees they have, how big or small they are equally important for us, because they are part of this puzzle that makes up for the Acton economic scene.
Absolutely. So is there anything else we haven't talked about economic development that you'd like to tell?
Trying to
maybe as you think through it, what is the vision for the town for the next 1 to 5 years in terms of, expanding economic development?
Well, for the more in the mid-long term, we have two priority areas in mind.
Okay.
And they have been identified as priority areas because they have a lot of potential, or because they have some specific demands that need to be addressed.
Okay.
They are South Acton and the Great Road Corridor. And we've been working more diligently in terms of attracting resources and investments, and trying to leverage some resources through grants to help these specific areas. And what is clear to me in terms of long term is also the fact that we cannot think of Acton as a bubble, but instead we have to think about economic development from a more regional perspective.
Right.
And over the past year, and then I get back to one of your previous questions regarding what we have achieved or accomplished, we have made progress in terms of connecting to our neighboring communities, to other municipalities. We have Maynard, more recently Stowe, Air, and all the way down Route 2 in Lexington. So we've been in constant conversations to see what we can do to promote economic development from a more regional standpoint. This is a very important part of our more long-term commitment, because when we think, for example, of Route 27 and South Acton, which is one of our priority areas, we cannot think of it without thinking of Littleton and Maynard, because everything that we do will impact on them and vice versa.
Right.
So having been able to advance in conversations with these municipalities and thinking about this perspective of economic development from a more regional approach has been an important step forward, and something that will help us achieve results more regionally, that will benefit not only Acton but also the macro area that Acton is part of.
Well, as you think about the regionalization for economic development, for lack of a better term, do you, for example, envision having Restaurant Week with all the towns that you're collaborating with? And in the same context, have you thought through, a transportation system that works with all the communities that you're working with? Because these are some of the enablers for economic development, the ability to access some of these businesses easily for those especially who have, difficulty with transportation. So what are some of the ideas on actually making this regionalization operational?
Yeah, when we think about the more regional approach, it's inevitable to address transportation because that's what will provide for the transfer of agents, workers, residents, and goods from one area to another. And in Acton, we have Penny Funayol, who you spoke with recently, who is directly responsible for this part. And over the past year, we've been advancing conversations. The Office of Economic Development has been advancing conversations with the other offices in town that deal with all these aspects of the of Acton life that intersect with economic development, and transportation is one of them. So I know that there are some plans to consider transportation from a more regional standpoint, which will align exactly with what we think about in terms of economic development for Acton and for the region.
Oh, thank you so much, Patricia. Is there anything we haven't talked about, again, back to the question asked earlier, that you'd like to tell our viewers?
Yeah, well, one thing that I did not have the opportunity to mention yet is that the Office of Economic Development is also part now of a project with the Harvard Kennedy School, and we'll be working in the next 3 months with a student, a graduate student, who will be assisting us in identifying these needs and priorities of business owners, and it will give rise to a specific report on the town. And at the same time, we're going to have another report that is going to be prepared by these other 4 volunteers from Acton Boxborough School and the Office of Economic Development, and we expect to have something feasible in terms of a picture of what our business community is, what they think and what they expect in the short, mid, and long term.
Absolutely. No, this is great, and it's lovely to hear that you're tapping into resources, student resources, to work toward improving economic development in Acton. That is very exciting. Well, thank you again, Patricia, for taking the time to come and give us some updates in economic development.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, ActonTV, for being a partner of our businesses in Acton and our community in Acton, always informing and promoting our initiatives. Thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure. And to our viewers, you can learn more about economic development at actonma.gov. But for now, thank you for watching. Till next time.